Let's cover how to import video reference into Maya for animation. First off, let's take a look. I have this lovely video reference of myself circa 1991 doing homework. I'm sure you have just as exciting video reference. Heavens. But this is video, so it's not 24 frames a second. As animators, we want to have it 24 frames a second. Now we have two choices. We can either bring it in as a converted MOV or H.264 MP4. And probably MOV isn't going to be useful to you if you have a newer computer. Though my computer is not 1991, it is about 5 years old, and I can still use movies in Maya. So you can try it using a movie, or you can do a sequence. Here I've got a PNG sequence. And you can see they count up from 1, 2, and I just did 20. All right, how do you get that? First, it's very important, we need to change it to 24 frames a second, remember? So here I have Adobe Media Encoder. I'm going to do it both ways. I'm going to grab that original file. And here you can see you have a choice of, I've already got it set up for a 1080 24 frames a second sequence as PNGs, right? So you can do that. So I'll do PNGs. I'm going to change that name to just something smaller, T91. I like dots, and I'm going to name it. I'm going to put a 0. It's just 1. That's fine. Okay. I like lots of padded zeros, but you will find if you have too many padded zeros, Maya won't read it. So fine. PNG is going to go into this video reference folder. Let's make sure. Desktop, I'm actually going to put it. That's fine for now. I'll move it in a second. Save. Looks good. And then make sure that frame rate here is 24 frames a second. And I'm going to change it here to not be the entire clip. I'll do something like so and click OK. And actually, you know what? I'm going to do it again. And this time I'm going to do let's do H.264. Now because I have an older Mac, I can use QuickTime and that works fine. Actually, I'm going to do that. You can do H.264 for yours. I know this works. I have the correct codec. Again, making sure that you scroll down and change that frame rate to 24. Super important. And then again, I'll do that. It's going to be here, T91 dot. Looks good to me. Now I've got this set up, so this is going to save a PNG sequence, and this is going to save QuickTime. And when I press play, it's going to go off. Oops, it's going to do one I had selected, of course. Whichever one you have selected is going to go off and do. And I'm going to stop that for us because I've already made them. Just to prove you. I have both of them selected. It'll go off and do all of them as well. Okay, so Adobe Media Encoder is my favorite thing on earth. Well, almost. And now if I come to Maya, I have my project set. I've already pre-baked this a little bit, so I have inside my scenes folder, there's my project folder, video reference, source images, and there I have my image sequence and a movie format in 24 frames a second. Now, inside Maya, I'm going to create a new camera, new perspective camera. So panels, perspective, new. I'll go ahead and call it render cam. Now in this, with this camera, this is what we'll put our image plane in and load our reference in. I'm going to do it two ways. First this, got my render cam selected, go to view, image plane. Let's do import image here. That one's the one you'll probably use most. Sometimes movie just doesn't work, depending on codecs. So here's my image sequence. I'm going to ignore the 0, 0 and select the first one, T01, and open. So it fits it straight to the camera, and now no matter where you move the camera, it stays there, so you kind of end up adjusting your camera to match and using it to, if you want to use grease pencil or what have you. But it's not loading in the sequence yet. So how we do that, I'm going to go back, View, Image Plane Attributes, and that chooses this one. You want to make sure you turn on Use Image Sequences. Back in my day, we had to write that by hand, that expression, but look at you. Now you get it in there. So 1991, well, we didn't even have Maya then. 1990, I forget what year it came out. 1999? I don't remember. Okay, so there you go. There's your image sequence there. Perfect. Now you can have it at 24 frames a second. Now, there's another way you can do it. Under Create, you might note that there's a free image plane, and a lot of students like this. It's a little bit easier to wrap your head around. You get this image plane hanging out in space. Here I'm going to come over and I'm going to find that image. Oh, look, it doesn't like that movie file. And it will not be that one. And if it likes the file that you've saved, then you can select it. In this case, it does not. Let me look and see if I've got another version. I don't think I do. All right. Oh, you know why? Because that's looking for an image. Oh, I love it when, let's change it. Hey, let's change it to movie. Yeah, I'll bet. Indeed. There we go. Let's make sure in the right place, movie. Sweetness. So that loads in your movie file. Now, for me, come on, check my. I have a QuickTime codec in here. This depends on what you have. You might be able to do MP4s, and that'll be fine. 2008, Maya kind of got cranky, and it didn't like anything from what I played with. I'm on 2019, but good luck with that. Hey, and remember to change the type, kids, and that'll help you find the movie file. There you go. So now remember, super important, make sure you change things to 24 frames a second, and then import either in the image sequence or the movie or MP4. Happy animating!